Hey people, it is Thursday, September the 30th, and it is 1:30 in the afternoon, and it is a cool 14 degrees Celsius. And I'm just walking north on Bathurst Street, just passing Niagara. And just up ahead is King Street West, and I'll be turning right onto King Street, heading east for a walk along King Street through downtown. It's kind of a busy day today. For some reason there seems to be a lot of people walking the streets and lots of traffic too. I'm not exactly sure why it seems so busy today, but I like it. It's good to see the city seeming relatively back to its old self again. And here's the former Thompson Diner, and I see now it's reopened with a new name. And it's very busy inside there. And a new development is underway across the street. I'm trying to remember what was there. I think there was a building that burned down, if I'm not mistaken, at one point. And there were a few other old buildings that were brought down. And across the street is the Wheat Sheaf Tavern, and I believe that's the oldest bar in Toronto. And I think they have a sign right there. There you go, yep. Since 1849, so that's certainly a very long time. And here's King Street. So we'll start walking towards downtown. Bathurst Street is the western boundary of downtown, so we've just entered downtown. This is the nightlife area of the city. So obviously it's a bit quieter during the day. Come here on a Friday, Saturday night, and it is absolutely packed with people. And I have come through here before at night in the live stream. This fat bastard. I'm just wondering if I should cross the street. I think I'll get a better shot, a better view of the city walking from the other side. And you can see the CN Tower from this side of the street as well. And somebody got pulled over. is Ruby Soho. Basically the several blocks east and west of Portland Street along King Street, where all the popular clubs and bars are and restaurants catering to a nighttime clientele. Looks like they're going to retain this old building as part of this new proposal. Just basically build a new structure on top of this one. Hopefully they retain it in full and not just the facades. We have a meeting of the doggies. And another doggy and another one. All kinds of doggies. Ah, Four Brothers pop-up. That cheese pizza looks pretty good. Yeah, maybe a construction frenzy here across the way. This new building will be very, very interesting. As you can see, it's all covered with foliage. Let's just say trees, because apparently I can't say foliage. But as you can see, it's like this stepped, terraced, low-rise or mid-rise residential building, and it's absolutely covered with trees and greenery. So we'll see how that works out in this Toronto climate. I'm just wondering how long some of these trees will live, if they'll just constantly have to replace them. But you never know.
Dude, man, I'm telling you, there's
Yeah, there's another dog.
yes.
And another one. Is it just me, or is this a lot of people walking dogs?
That's what you already paid.
That's a different. Everything's a different.
Lots of beautiful old buildings here on this part of King Street. They're just very solid looking. Before King streetcar. And there used to be an awesome view of the CN Tower right from here, but now it's been replaced by this condo tower. But pretty soon the view of this condo tower will be replaced by the view of a new tower, which is going to go right on this corner where the Spirit Halloween store stands now. That used to be a liquor store, but that building will be torn down to make way for another new tower. There's another dog, and I look up Spadina Avenue. And another dog. What is going on here? And another one. I think this is the dog district. The entertainment district has been redubbed the dog district.
Okay, so where am I?
There's a new tower. That one's just about topped out. Here's Peter Street. And a few of the old restaurants that made up Restaurant Row were torn down for this development. But I believe those facades will be reconstructed at the base of this new building. And hopefully then new restaurants will open in those locations to keep Restaurant Row relatively intact. Somebody was in the way. And we're walking past the TIFF Bell Lightbox, as in Toronto International Film Festival. This is sort of like the headquarters of the film festival. And there's also a small theater complex here with a number of movie screens where they screen films, and they also screen films all year round, not just during the festival. It's a place to go to catch art house movies and sometimes second run films, as well as the occasional first run movie. And Restaurant Row. Restaurant Row kind of had a hard time over the course of the pandemic. But seems to be mostly back in action. Of course, it's missing a few of its restaurants, as I mentioned. And here's John Street. If you go north, it will lead you to Queen Street West.
Honestly, I'll give it a few more months.
Yeah. We're walking past one of the theaters here in the entertainment district. As in live performance theater for big shows. This is the Princess of Wales Theatre. I don't think they've started showing new shows yet, unless this is the first new one. Yeah, this is the first new show in the theater since it was initially shut down a year and a half ago, or whenever things started locking down. And up ahead is the Royal Alex Theatre, and they had Come From Away playing there, and it shut down, and as far as I know, it's still shut down. Hey, how are you?
Good, Dan. How are you?
I'm good. No, it's always nice when people say hello. And let's look up Duncan Street.
He does.
This is Canada's Walk of Fame. We're currently walking through. I've done a video before where I look at almost all of these stars here on the sidewalk to see whose names I recognize. Here's the Royal Alex. And it is still shut down. Let's see if there's any sort of indication as to when they might reopen. 1907 is when this building was constructed. Yeah, no indication as to when they will reopen. I think it's about time. Let's take a look at just a few of these names. We've got Celine Dion, Bobby Orr, Ronnie Hawkins, Mr. Dress Up, Triumph, that's a good band. Frank Gehry, famous architect. Oh, here we go. Now we're talking. Neil Young. There you are. There's a Canadian icon. And Will Arnett. Yes, he is Canadian. Anyway, if you want to see all the names, there's more on the other side of the street as well. Look for my video from a while back, I think a year ago or more, where I named off all of the names in Canada's Walk of Fame. And that's Roy Thompson Hall across the street. That's where the Toronto Symphony Orchestra is located. Now we're coming into the financial district, and I expect things here will be a little quieter because still most office workers are working from home. Toronto is lagging other cities on the return to the office. I saw in a recent article it is one of the cities that still has a large majority of its office workers working from home. There's a nice money shot.
See, I need my Batmobile. Robin. So I can have my motorcycle. You can just get in the Robin car.
I think less than 20% of office workers have returned to the office here in the financial district. But obviously some are back, because I noticed a while ago that the bars and pubs and restaurants at the base of some of these office buildings are busy again. And they're mostly there to cater to the office population. Across to the other side again. Alright, University Avenue. So now we're coming into the heart of the financial district. About a block up ahead is Bay Street, and that's considered the epicenter, pretty much, King and Bay. York Street. And here's where the biggest office towers are located. We've got First Canadian Place, and the Toronto Dominion Centre, and Commerce Court West, and Scotia Plaza. And this is a popular location for photographers to come and get some cool shots of all the towers. When you look up, you can kind of capture all of them at once. Let's see if I can simulate that here. I don't know if this viewfinder really does it justice. Of course, everything isn't all modern and shiny. We do have some old skyscrapers here as well. They just kind of get lost in amongst all these big modern towers. You can't really see them until you're basically walking up next to them. But they're here. Here's King and Bay. And my camera just randomly shut itself off. That tends to happen more often than I'd like. Luckily this time I heard it beep when it turned off. Sometimes I don't hear it. And I'll just keep walking along and talking for like 5-10 minutes before I notice it's not recording anymore. And then I have to backtrack to where it shut off. That kind of sucks when that happens. And there's a look up at my favorite office tower. It's Scotia Plaza. And of course, this old classic is gorgeous as well. Commerce Court North. You gotta love this entranceway. They don't make them like this anymore. Like, why don't they still do this when they construct new buildings? As you can see, this is quite old, 1929 to 31. This is when it was under construction. Wow, she's booking it. And this is another beautiful old skyscraper. It's not as tall as Commerce Court North or as ornate, but it recently just got a nice refurbishment where they cleaned all the bricks. It was a much darker shade of almost dark gray or brownish before. Now it's lightened up quite a lot. Guess it was covered with decades worth of soot and grime. Oh, and I forgot to show one of the skinniest buildings in the city. It literally only takes a second to walk past it because it's so thin. There you can see this glass-fronted cafe here is basically the width of the entire building. And it juts up over 50 stories. And that is One King West. It's an upscale residential complex and a hotel as well. Here's Yonge Street. Have a look at this old beauty, and a couple of these ones aren't too shabby either. Alright, so now we just crossed onto King Street East. Yonge Street is the dividing line between East and West. And this end of King Street has a bit of a different character than King Street West. So look up Victoria Street. And here's the historic King Edward Hotel. This was once one of the most prestigious hotels in the city, and it's still considered very good. But I think it's been upstaged by some of the newer arrivals, such as the Shangri-La and the Four Seasons. And of course the Adelaide Hotel, which was formerly the Trump Tower. Actually, not the Adelaide, it's the St. Regis. It was called the Adelaide for a brief moment in time, but it is now the St. Regis. And there's Toronto Street. And I suppose I'll have to cross here. And this is the new head office of Google Canada. I know Google is one of those tech companies that made a big show of saying that they're going to allow their employees to work from home indefinitely. But if that's the case, what will they do with this brand new office building which they just built? Obviously, they're going to have to fill it up with people. And here's Church Street. And here's the St. James Cathedral. And even though there's no shortage of historical buildings on the west side, along King Street West, as I walk past there, the east side does tend to have a bit more of a slightly old towny historic flavor to it. This area is actually called Old Town on the street signs. Generally speaking, I think the oldest part of the city is east of Yonge. And here's St. James Park. This park recently got a makeover, and it's very, very nice. I'd say one of the nicest urban parks in the city. It's a bit on the small side, though. There's St. Lawrence Hall. That's another one of the more oldest buildings in the city. And here's Jarvis Street. Here's a better look at St. Lawrence Hall. You can see the actual top of the building. I think that one dates from the 1830s. Oh, there's another dog. Haven't seen one of those in a little while after I saw one every 30 seconds before. And here's George Street. So I think actually I'm going to wrap up the video here at George Street. I do have to start heading north from here. So I hope you enjoyed the walk along King Street from Bathurst, starting on Bathurst actually, and then heading east along King from Bathurst all the way here to George Street, passing through the entertainment district and the financial district and Old Town as this area is known. So if you enjoyed the walk, leave a comment below. Let me know if your thoughts and if you'd like to see more of this kind of thing. And of course, subscribe and like and share. And be sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. And if you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal and via my merch store. And there's another dog across the street, and it looks like a dachshund, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So once again, thank you for watching, and be sure to keep checking back because, as always, I will continue.